take off?
They can, but because we haven't even seen it yet, there's nothing that we can say, so we're just basically.
He does all that.
Right. If they put in a comment card, because, you know, it's open forum at that point. Maybe the people who came tonight won't be able to make it on the night.
You know, if it's an S, when I get
For some reason, I don't
the size thing, right? So he. Remember now.
It's 6:32.
I think it was about 1, 2. I have a million of them in my car, and I finally remembered this time to pull one in highlighter.
For the signing? You see what I'm saying? It should be two.
I think I have a pen, and it'll be lipstick too.
About to be way at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to go and get started. All right, I'd like to welcome the public to the Riviera Beach Planning and Zoning Board City and everyone televised. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Board City meeting in Riviera Beach. The commencement time now is 6:30, Thursday, May 26, 2022, at the Riviera Beach Event Center, 190 East 13th Street, Riviera Beach, Florida, 33404. Due to COVID-19, attendees must adhere to the City of Riviera Beach guidelines. If you wish to speak on any item on this agenda, please complete a public comment card and provide it to the Planning and Zoning Board staff. Cards must be submitted prior to the board discussion of an item. First, let's start off with the moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance led by all members of Planning and Zoning Board.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Can we go ahead and have a roll call?
Margaret Shepard,
Here.
Anthony Brown,
Here.
Evelyn Harris Clark,
Present.
James Gallen,
Here.
Renee Burgess,
Here.
William Wiley,
Present.
Frank Fernandez, Russell Barnes.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, do we have acknowledgement of any board member absentee notification?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Chairperson Fernandez advised that he would be out for this evening's meeting.
Okay, any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No. If I may, in the absence of Chairperson Fernandez, we will be bestowing voting rights on the first alternate, Mr. Barnes.
Duly noted. All right, can we go ahead and have approval of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and go ahead, like I skipped over one here, disclosure by board members and adoption of the agenda. Yeah, I skipped over number 5.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
may I ask one question?
yes, ma'am.
Ms. Simone, I thought Mr. Barnes, since Mr. Nairobi left, he moved up. Did I mistaken you?
He did move up to the first alternate. Yes, ma'am.
But I thought he had voting rights last week.
We had a full quorum on last week, so he did not need or have voting rights.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Right.
Okay. Roll call. Anthony Brown,
Yes.
Renee Burgess,
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark,
Yes.
Russell Barnes,
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd,
Yes.
James Gallen,
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
All right, now I guess we can go back to number 5 with the disclosure of board members and adoption of the agenda.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Anthony Brown,
Yes.
Renee Burgess,
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark,
Yes.
Russell Barnes,
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd,
Yes.
James Gallen,
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
All right, do we have any unfinished business? No, sir. All right, so we go on to number 8, new business.
Thank you, sir. The first item of new business is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving plat application PA 2003 from United Parcel Services Incorporated to combine several contiguous lots of record into one lot totaling approximately 29.08 acres in land area for the real property located at 2001 Avenue P, located immediately south of West Blue Heron Boulevard, west of Avenue P, and east of Avenue R, identified by parcel control number 564342295500100030, providing for conditions of approval and providing for an effective date. And Mr. Chair, our principal planner, Mr. Ledger, is going to be presenting this to you tonight.
Good evening, Josu Ledger, Development Services for the record. As read on the record, the item before you is a replat application, application number PA-20-03 from UPS to combine several lots as it exists today into one lot to pretty much clean the current configuration of the property. To give you an idea of where the project is located, it's immediately south of West Blue Heron Boulevard, east of Avenue R, and west of Avenue P. This is a survey of the property as it exists today. As you can see, there are multiple lots, even some of them runs through the building. So they're here today as a result of a prior application that they had, a site plan that was approved by the board, by the city council, and they were conditioned to replat the property to clean up all these lots and combine them into one lot. This is the first page of the proposed plat. It's part of your packet. This is the second page of the proposed plat, and as you could see, lot lines that were running through the survey shown earlier are no longer there. The parcels is one parcel. Staff recommends approval of this plat application, PA-20-03 from United Parcel Services, Inc., UPS, to combine several contiguous lots of record into one lot totaling approximately 29.08 acres in land area. This concludes my presentation. If the board has any questions, I'm free to answer them. If not, I can turn it over to the applicant. I do know they don't have a presentation, but they're here to pretty much summarize what they're doing, and if the board has any questions for them, they can answer.
Does the board have any questions?
Sure.
Ms.
I'd
Clark?
like to hear the presentation first.
How do you want to handle it, Chair? Do you want to have us address questions, or do you want the applicant to come forward, introduce themselves, and we can ask them questions? How do you want to handle it?
Well, yeah, let her ask questions. Let the applicant come forward, and then We'll ask questions from that point. Bring the applicant.
Thank you, Board. I'm Michael Weiner of the law firm of Sachs and Kaplan. And with me is Steve Cochran. He's the professional engineer from Neal and Schaefer that has been running with this application. And Jason Hunt from UPS, he's the project engineer. As you've heard, this is a condition of approval with respect to a site plan that was already approved by the City Commission. The only thing we're talking about are lines on the ground. There's nothing in here that has to do with any intensity, with any additional improvements, nothing vertical. In fact, not even a parking lot. It's just the lines on a plat. We want to thank the staff because, you know, the records in Florida go back more than 100 years. It was a little difficult cleaning up all of this stuff and finding things from the early 1920s and getting it all in shape. They helped us through it. We were able to get it all done. The title opinions were delivered, and basically what we're doing is erasing those lines. I completely understand it. Plats are important. They're important for keeping things in the public record and keeping it neat and tidy. But we weren't going to use up your time repeating the application, the presentation that was already made to you. We're here to answer any questions that you have. I have been at some of the longest meetings at municipalities in Palm Beach County. It would be a pleasure to be at one of the shortest. So thank you very much for your time, and we do take it seriously. We're here to answer questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You remain. Yep. Yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on my left. Mr. Barnes.
No questions.
Mrs. Burgess.
No questions, Mr. Chair.
No question.
Just a couple of questions. Yes, it's lines and it's cleanup. Right now, with the tax base, is a street, 3 separate, or how many ever lots, are they taxed individually like that? Or when we combine these lots, will it be one big giant lot, obviously? And I don't know if staff can answer this. I'm just wondering how it had been taxed and how it will be taxed with the combining into one.
Would you like staff to answer that, or I can answer it?
If you can answer it, that's fine.
So the property appraiser already taxes this. It's owned by, they draw the line around the ownership. So it is already taxed in that position. So this has...
Which position? The
fact that there's a single owner, right. So...
Uno position is being taxed?
Well, so it's taxed being owned by a single owner. The disappearance of these lines do not impact valuation. So it is the exact same valuation tools that will be used by the property appraiser with or without the plat. The valuation has to do with the improvements and other items associated with valuation, not with whether or not the lines are drawn. As long as they're contiguous, they are already taxed in that manner.
Okay. Is it vacant right now, all of those multiple?
No. Actually, what prompted this originally is that UPS did an upgrade to the warehouse and an expansion to the warehouse. In doing that, they found that they had to expand across these lines. The city believed that wasn't the precise way to do it, and fine. And so, as a condition of that approval, the platting started. Then, as we did the plat, it was held up for a little bit as we investigated some of the old ownership, but we were able to put all that together. As I say, there were things in the public record, and that's what resulted in this. It's over 200,000 square feet. There's approximately 350 employees, okay. And they are completing their expansion.
Okay. Well, I thank you for answering the questions. I just like to be transparent so that when we have people watching these proceedings, that they may not be able to ask the questions. So I hope that I ask the questions, give them clarity, and then we keep it moving. But thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Okay, Mrs. Shepherd?
You said you're just here to clean up the lines,
Clean up lines.
and that's it.
That's it?
You're ready to go.
We
I
are
won't-
going, yes.
I'm going to make this short for you. Thank you for choosing Riviera Beach.
Yes, sir.
Riviera has been great for UPS, and
Yes,
we
it has.
we really do appreciate what you've been doing.
Beautiful, beautiful facility. I'm through, Mr. Chair.
No questions, Mr. Chair.
No questions. All right, and I don't have any questions either. Like I said, Mrs. Shepherd and everyone cleared it up that we're just here to clean up the lines, just to make it one big area. So let's go to our. I guess we can move to a motion. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Anthony Brown,
Yes.
Renee Burgess,
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark,
Yes.
Russell Barnes,
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd,
Yes.
James Gallen,
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
All right, let's move on to workshop items.
Just a thank you on behalf of UPS.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have no workshop items, Mr. Chair.
Say again.
We have no workshop items.
Okay, we'll go on to public comments at this time. I have public cards here, and we're going to start with our first person. And I hate to pronounce them. I know they do my last name the same way all the time. So if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. I'm looking for Mr. Bill. I'm going to just say W. Bill W. Yes, sir.
Thank you and good evening. I'm going to make this as quickly, explain to you quickly as possible. I'm a Lone Pine resident, and our meeting is going to be, I believe, June 9th. But I just wanted to bring some things to your attention that...
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you pull the mic up to you so we can hear you?
How's that?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. And we have at least 300 people that do not want the golf course to be rezoned. As far as homes that are in there now, we paid extra to live on the golf course, and if they start building homes in there, we're going to be losing value, and we are a working community. We're not a community of people with a lot of money, so anything that we could do to save money and keep our values up, that's what we want to do. Other than that, even with the horrendous traffic that that's going to produce, with no plans to widen Military Trail right now at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, forget it. You can't even pull out a Lone Pine, let alone have another development in there. One of the things I suggested is that maybe don't allow the rezoning of the golf course, have another piece, another parcel maybe up in Riviera Beach that can be given as a discount to the builder, have it rezoned for residential, which is going to increase the value of that particular neighborhood. It's a win-win situation for everybody, because here at Lone Pine, we would be happy that we would still have our greenery and our animals that are in the golf course. And we just don't want the thing to be rezoned specifically for those reasons. And that's really about all I have to say. If you have any questions for me, I'll take them.
Thank you, sir.
So
Appreciate
please consider this. We really don't want this to happen in our community. And if we could be any assistance, we would be more than happy to work with the zoning committee.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
point of order. Just, I have no earthly idea what they're talking about. I mean, we had an item in front of us for a platting today for the UPS parcel. He's talking about something that I have no idea what they're talking about right now.
Just for public comments, they'll be allowed to be able to converse about any subject at that time. So even though we're not here for something for future reference, they can, as the public, can come in and just speak on it just to make us aware. But we're from our standpoint, from the city standpoint, we don't want to say anything that can be perceived in any way. But as the public, they are allowed to come in and be able to speak. So we're here to listen. Our next person,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that he was saying. Can you kind of repeat it for me?
what he was saying?
Yes.
Oh, he was speaking about, he was speaking more about the Long Pine since they were not on the agenda, and that should we address it? And it be them being the public, then they are allowed to address it, but it's something that's not on our item tonight. It'll be at our next meeting.
If I may, recommendation for further clarity, although what the public comment is referencing may or may not come before this board in the near future, there is a possible development that may happen, and we may see it. But on the last city council meeting, some residents from that community did come, and they went into a lot more detail about their perception of what this development, good, bad, or indifferent, may take place in their community. And if we have another guest speaker that is coming on this same topic, if they would be so kind for our board members just to give a very short synopsis so that we're understanding your point of view and what it's based upon and what it's referenced for the next guest speaker. Thank you.
Okay, now next speaker, I got Mrs. Odessa Walker.
Good evening, everyone. I am a resident of Lone Pine Estates as well. I did have an agenda number, but it's supposed to come before the next meeting on June 9th. But what is happening is the Lone Pine Golf Course is up for sale. D.R. Horton has submitted some plans for what they would like to do, and basically they're trying to go from recreational to residential, and that's what we are opposing. They are wanting to build over 300 homes, and we already have problems with the community, so we are here to say that we don't agree, and that kind of gives a breakdown of why we're here. But I did have an agenda number, which was 10A, but that'll be at the next meeting, and we'll be back on June 9th. But the reason I'm opposed to it is traffic. We have a hard time getting in and out of Lone Pine right now when the ballpark is open for baseball games or if they're having other events. Also, the other item is we're going to have a problem getting medical assistance. If we need to get a fire truck, police, or anything, it's going to be hard for them to get into our community. Other issues we currently have is with draining. Right now, that's not resolved with the city, with Riviera Beach, so we are really opposing this rezoning, and that's why we're here.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next, Mrs. Joyce Murphy.
Hi.
Good evening.
I'm here about the Lone Pine Estate and Lone Pine Golf Course as well. I'm a resident of Riviera Beach, and I'm a registered voter. I'm asking you to refuse the request of D.H. Horton to change that zoning of the Lone Pine Golf Course. Do any of you live in Riviera Beach along the Military Trail Highway? Do you realize this project will add at least 500 more cars coming and going on this road several times each and every day? D.R. Horton's representatives have lied to Riviera Beach representatives already regarding this project. They have stated before any Zoom meetings they were set up inviting Lone Pine Estate owners that we owners had agreed to the destructive and dishonest plans for this golf course. We did not at any time. Lone Pine Estates has a problem now with flooding. Whenever we have any amount of heavy rains, D.R. Horton's answer to this is to raise the level of the grounds of what is now the golf course 18 inches. How is that going to fix our flooding? Their other plan is to build 2 huge retention ponds. One will be in my backyard. What happens when they overflow? When we ask them that in one of their meetings, they say extra water will go into their system. What system? They never explain that. Where are those plans and permits? Another problem Lone Pine Estates already has is non-existent water pressure. D.R. Horton's answer to that is that they are going to build a new pumping station. Where? Is Riviera Beach or West Palm Beach County aware of that? Where are those plans and permits? I say no to any and all plans of D.H. Horton. They brag about how they are a huge nationwide company. Yes, they are that, a very destructive nationwide company. I ask this board to please research their practices and research how many lawsuits they have pending and in the past regarding their destructive, dishonest construction practices. They are not Riviera Beach residents, nor are they planning to be. They will not be living there. I have not even begun to state all the problems these proposed development and zoning changes will create. We have a list with at least 10 other problems, some of which you've heard tonight and will hear, and concerns that this will create for your city of Riviera Beach. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Mrs. Rochelle Baker Hughes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
I am also a resident of Lone Pine Estates. I've lived there, it'll be 20 years this November. Yay. I bought my house on the golf course. I paid more money for my house on the golf course because I wanted an open backyard. And I've had it for 20 years, and I love it. I get to see nature. I get to watch golfers. I get to hear the golfers go, woohoo, when they get a hole-in-one on the 17th. That's where I live. I do not want any homes in my backyard. This whole country is about green, and if you drive up and down Military Trail in the city of Riviera Beach, the golf course is the only green space left. There's no other green space. From where Woodbine is down past us, there is no other green space on Military Trail. Yes, there are traffic issues now. As we all know, more and more people moved into the state of Florida. We don't have a season anymore where the snowbirds go back home. Everyone's here 365 days a year. Traffic is crazy. If I don't get out of the development before 7 a.m., I get to wait for all the traffic to go by. Another thing, our water pressure right now is horrible. I can be in the shower, have a full pressure, and the next thing I know, I'm trying to get the soap out of my hair because my pressure just went down. We are at the end of the city of Riviera Beach in regards to the water system. Property values, as they said, loss of privacy. We're a quiet community. You don't hear from us. We're quiet, and we like it that way. We keep to ourselves. We are a working class community. And we like our privacy, we like our greenery, and we're hoping maybe we'll get more water pressure when the new water system goes in. But we just want you guys to be aware that we are not for this item that's coming up on June 9th. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker, Quentin Jacobs.
How you all doing? All right. I also live in Lone Pine Estates, and what she's saying is true. In reference to the water pressure, that's very low. But the problem is with this new development that they're trying to bring in, we've been working on the city for like for the 20-year tenure that I've been around myself. And crime-wise, we think we have a problem way back when. What's going to end up happening, they build this, when they come in, for a whole year they can't do anything to it. After that year, they can rent it out to whoever they want to rent it to. We don't know who we're going to be getting in our city. We'll work very hard and everything. It's going to cause a problem, not only with the traffic part, as they explained, but what's going to happen also, it's going to make a bigger problem for the police department. And for us trying to get things in order, and it's going to run us. Same thing with the medics. When I get off in the evening time and I get home, trying to get home, from Blue Heron to South Canterbury, trying to get to that point, sometimes it takes 25 minutes just to get to that point. And it's sad. If you put 300 more homes inside of that community, I said we're going to have an issue because you're not knowing with the loud music. You're going to have a whole lot of domestic issues, all kind of things going on. And that's what we don't need into the city, period. So if you all, I don't know exactly whose hand is going to fall into during that time period when it do come up. And if it does, we just hope and pray that you all really look at it and consider, this, because all they want is just to make money. That's all they're looking at, and they're going to go to their prospective places. And investors come in, they're going to come and do what they need to do, get their money, and they're gone. And we're all going to be sitting here holding the bag. So I ask, please consider it, look at it as a whole, and work with us on it. That's something that we definitely don't need. And thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you, sir. Francis Scott.
About not knowing you were going to be here. My name's Francis Scott, and I live in Lone Pine also. I'm probably senior. I've been there 42 years. It's a great place to live. There's a lot of things as far as traffic and all is concerned. Initially, we were told that they had contacted the DOT to put a red light at the entrance, and I think that's right across the street where the water slide is, if I'm not mistaken. It looks to me like if that, well, at first we were told they were going to do that, and DOT said they couldn't. And then since the last meeting, we've heard that D.R. Horton would be putting the red light there. So I don't know what transpired between the DOT and Horton. But if you look at the traffic count in that area, as one lady alluded to, that, the go to work and the come home people in that area, you're taking your life in your hands sometimes to try to go northbound or southbound coming out. If they put a red light at that intersection, it's going to basically block off the northern entrance, and probably the second, I don't know, the south entrance, but I know that the north entrance, as far as turning and going north out of the community, will probably be blocked off completely. There's a lot of emotions going on about this. It is a quiet place to live. I'm old, I like quiet. It's just, there's so many unanswered questions when we have discussions with the representatives for D.R. Horton. Initially, we were told that, I think there's 2 or 3 retention, well, no, they're not called retention ponds, they're called lakes. The first conversation I had with these people, and that goes back, probably 6 months. They had a couple of meetings over at the Marriott, and it's during COVID, so it was kind of limited who could be there. They told us about these lakes that they were going to put in. There's one on the 16th tee. There's 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong, or just 2? Well, it's too many. Last conversation I had with their engineers, and that's when we had the meeting a couple of weeks ago at the golf course, was that they would be lakes, water-fed lakes, that the lakes would be 25 to 30 feet deep. They would be fenced in. My concern is we have 2 canals, north and south. Am I running out of time?
Yes, sir.
Oh, y'all have to tell me I got
Yeah,
time.
3
I used to speak for a living. I'm looking at 3 hours. Y'all better go get dinner. I'll come back next week. We'll talk about it some more. Is that cool?
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you,
Well,
sir.
I'm sorry. I didn't know I had time.
Thank you, sir.
Huh? No, but I mean, thanks, guys.
Yes,
but I
sir.
really, I'm going to just say this thing. Look at it with a judicious mind instead of just tax dollars and things like that. And I know that's important to a city, okay? But I've seen the houses they build. My daughter lives in one. She can't get her house repaired. There's just a lot of things. Supposedly they had, no, I'm just running over.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Thank you, sir. We got you.
I'll come back
Next meeting. Yes, next meeting. Yes, sir. All right, and our last comment card, Mr. Randy Edwards.
Good afternoon, board and staff. Let me start. How many Long Pine stand up? That's everybody? We missed some people then. We got some more people at home didn't make it tonight because a lot of people working, but they're sincere about this here. You know, I'm quite sure to be on that board you have to live in the city, right? You know, I moved out of West Palm Beach, out of Northwood, to be in Riviera Beach. If I had known this was going to come up, I would have stayed in West Palm Beach, in Northwood. But Riviera Beach was such a beautiful place. It was growing, so I bought my home in Long Pine. I want to be a taxpayer of Riviera Beach. That's why I left West Palm Beach. I could have been in Northwood, but I came to Long Pine. I gave that up with that, okay? Where I'm going to play golf if they build on this golf course? Can anybody tell me where I'm going to play golf at around here? PGA National, anywhere? Anywhere I can go play golf? Anybody know? No? I guess I can't then, huh? Guess I'll put it in my backyard. But we got firefighters and police officers living in Long Pine. And they can tell you, and you should talk with the police department, the fire department, ask them about the traffic of them response time getting out there now versus what you plan on. If you rezone this here, it's going to have a big impact. And then the other thing that bothers me is, where was D.R. Horton when the drive-by shootings in the city? Nobody wanted to come and invest in the city. But after we did all this hard work and built this city up, now they want to come in and reap the benefits. Where were they at back then? Why didn't they come in and do something back then? They want to be a part of this city. Where were they at? Everybody looked down on Riviera Beach. Now, they want to come get the benefits. They want to get the honey. And then go back home. This is y'all city too. And I'm going to tell you, I was on the police department. I worked overnight. There was a call, a house on fire in Long Pine. And I heard they're going to move the fire department. The VA taking their property back. I guess they're going to respond from Congress and Blue Herring. But people knocking on my door say, house on fire. We don't call. Guess where the fire department came from? The county. Because they have a mutual aid agreement. The county don't care about us. And they came the long way using GPS. The house burnt down. Imagine if you were having a heart attack and you had to wait on that. You end up dead. Or you'll wake up dead, I'm sorry. I'm just telling you the truth. Them the facts. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was our last comment. And even though this is a subject that I know we're not going to discuss as a board for the next meeting, but believe me, as the public of in Long Pine, that your sentiments and what you're discussing will be taken very, very seriously, and we definitely will look into this information to make sure we come to the proper decision. Let's go to our next, the correspondence.
I have none.
Okay, Planning and Zoning Board comments. Does anyone on the board have any questions or any comments?
Chair, I don't have any comments, but I have a question for the attorney.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Can you hear me pretty good? This question, These questions are for the attorney. The
Hey, hold on.
public,
Can we wait till it
Yes, I was
leaves?
gonna say
I
the same
can't
thing.
even hear.
Hold on 1 second and let them leave so you can clear. Give us 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Clark. There you go.
the comments that were made during public comments, do they automatically become a part of the record for when this particular item comes before the board?
It's, hopefully you can hear me. It's made a part of the record for today's planning and zoning meeting, which is going to be transcribed.
I cannot hear you. Could you speak into the mic too?
Press it.
No,
don't press it.
Just pull it closer.
Pull it.
Now you got it off.
Yeah, speak into it.
So the comments that have been made today regarding this are part of today's planning and zoning meeting. Whether or not they become a part of the record will depend on whether or not they're going to be transcribed in time for the June meeting. They could certainly be added as part of that, but as it stands right now, there is nothing before this planning and zoning board. This is just a public comment. They're legally allowed to speak on whatever it is that they're talking about, but whether or not it will pertain specifically to an item before you, there is nothing before you right now for consideration.
Okay. My next question is, I'm not familiar with the Lone Pine community. Would it, as a board member, if I made a request, because I don't know anybody personally that lives in that community, if I said right now that I would appreciate an invitation to visit the community, as you know, part of the board, we visit the various properties that are on our agenda, so we become very familiar with the terrain, what's being requested, the application, so that when we do come to the meeting and it's on the agenda, that we're a lot more prepared. So as a board member, am I in order or out of order to suggest receiving an invitation, not to be swayed in any way, but to get familiar with the area?
That would not be appropriate.
Okay.
That would not be appropriate. Remember, you have nothing before you right now. There is nothing to consider. There's nothing to evaluate. And anything that you would do at this point in time, you would potentially be creating a legal issue for the city. And I would encourage you not to do that until such time that the matter is properly before you. And while I know that it may be coming before you on June 9th, I do not know that with any certainty. And there certainly could be a set of circumstances where it may not formally come before you. So for you to do anything at this point in time would, again, potentially create a legal issue for the city, and I wouldn't want that to occur at this point in time.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to ask and get clarity because I would not know, and I want to be a good doobie, and I want to remain a board member. So I always want to follow, the proper protocols. But thank you. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, and just to be entirely clear, I realize that the individuals have spoken today. They have spoken on something that may or may not come before you. But at this point in time, what you have done is not really articulated any position one way or the other, not that I have heard, and we're just going to essentially leave it at that so that we don't have a situation where there could be something utilized against the city as a result of any predetermination or prejudgment. They spoke, they're allowed to do so, that's within their rights, that's within the Planning and Zoning Board, the commentary period.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions by the board? I would like to say one thing also, being a school teacher here in West Palm Beach and serving the kids in the community of Riviera Beach also. Today was the last day of school, and I'd like to say thank you to all the teachers and all the educators and all the administrators within the school board for doing such a great job this year, especially with going through the ending part of the pandemic and being able to make a lot of sacrifices to make sure that the kids in our community are receiving the best education possible. So for every level, elementary, middle school, and high school, and also at the state colleges that we have here in Palm Beach County, I'd like to say thank you for doing a great job this year. And today was the last day officially for school. So I can't jump up and scream and holler, but I would, I would like to, because it was a hard year. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, Vice Chair, I think. Let me commend you on how you handled the meeting today.
Yes, ma'am.
You're doing very well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just, use that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because then you go off board, but you did an excellent job.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Have a nice day, folks.
It's a wrap.